Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Danny, otherwise known as the Glittered Rose. Today I'd like to share one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made, and it's this art tag I made using Lavinia Stamps products. I've used Lavinia stamps along with Dinkles, which I've made it into like an ink or a paint, and for the background, and then Versafine Clear ink pads and elements. I've used my new mop brush. I had to use it. I only got it the other day. And so I just love this tag, and I hope that you enjoy the video, and let me know down below what you think. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so I've grabbed my Misty and I've stamped Star. She's a gorgeous Lavinia stamp. And I've got my little bunny. I think he's Pipkin. Mini Pipkin, and I'm just stamping him there. Oh, he hasn't stamped properly, but doesn't matter. I'll colour that in black to make him solid. I probably should have used my Misty so I could have restamped him, but it doesn't matter. So now I'm just grabbing my Wow embossing powder in clear, and I'm just going to emboss them just to set that colour, give it a little bit more dimension, and protect it from getting coloured with the background. I'm going to heat emboss this. You don't need to watch this, so I'll do this off camera. Okay, so now I've grabbed out my Versamark ink pad, and I'm just going in with one of Lavinia's text stamps and just randomly stamping it around. So the thing that I like about the Versamark is that it's a watermark sort of a look. So that writing will lightly pick up the colour from the background. And it'll just add a little bit more dimension and a little bit more interest without being too much. It'll be very light. So I'm just stamping very randomly. It's a bit hard to see where I've stamped, so sometimes I'll have to pop it up to the light to see, but because it's so random, it doesn't really matter too much. And that's just a quick way to add a bit of interest. I'm going to dry this off. Okay, so I've just grabbed out my pixie pots with the Dinkles, and I'm going to start with the green. I want to make a bit of a scene, so I'm going to pop green where she's standing for the grass, and I'll have blue up the sky and maybe some purple in between. And I'm just picking up the Dinkles with my brush and just dabbing it on. It's interesting. The colours are sort of staying where I want it to stay, which is surprising because it's a very thin liquid, so. And immediately I can see where I've popped the lettering. It's picking up the stamp really nicely. So now I'm going to go in with purple. Oh, it's nice. The blue and the purple are mixing to a blue. I quite like this effect so far. I'm making a lot of tags at the moment, I realise, with Lavinia stuff, but I want to make a tag book. So these pages that I'm making will go into a book. It'll be a magical book. So I'm just dabbing it on, just where I think it needs the colour. So far, I'm loving the look of this. It's quite different to using sprays or ink blending. Isn't it wonderful that we have all these choices to make pretty little miniature pieces of art? I think it's incredible. This is quite a quick technique. I'm going to finish this up, and well, it's pretty much finished now. I'm going to blow dry it off camera. Oh, I think that's dried really nicely. I'm so happy with it. So now I'm just going to stamp some mushrooms in randomly. Just to give it a look that she's in a magical forest with a little pet bunny by her side. I'm also grubbing out some flowers just to stamp around her. I'm just using Versifying Clay. I think this one's strawberry and the other one is portobello. And I'm just stamping this at different angles and bringing it up around her to make it look like she's sort of surrounded by foliage. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to stop before I put too much on and regret it. I have a tendency to do that. Okay, so now I'm just grabbing out a circle mask from Lavinia. And I'm going to grab an ink pad. I'll use Della Blue by Elements Ink. And I'm just using my stencil brush from Lavinia, which I love. And I'm just flicking on some colour. Oops. It's a little bit dark in one spot, but it'll be right. Just flicking it on. This just makes it look like it's the mist from the moon. And sort of highlights that circle. I'm going to pop some hanging lanterns in that top corner just to fill it in and give it that little bit of extra detail. I'm going to use Versifying Clay in Fantasia to try and bring out that purple in the background. I'll just stamp this 3 times. That isn't long enough at the cord, so I'll spin it around and put them together. Yep, that looks good. I'm happy with that. I like that. I was rather excited when I visited my local craft shop, or stamp shop, to find that they have a massive display of PanPastels. I've been wanting to get this pearlescent white for a long time, but online it's been hard to find and my art shop hasn't had it in. So when I saw that they had it at the my stamp shop, I had to grab it along with a whole heap of other stuff. But we won't talk about that. It's so pretty. It just gives that white moon glow. I love it. Now I'm just going in with a white gel pen and just doing some highlighting around the moon and blending that in just to make it look a little bit more glowy. I'm going to also draw some shapes in the moon body just to make it look like the craters and the shape the moon has. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just to give it that look of the moon. Okay, so I've grabbed out some more pan pastels and I'm just popping in a little bit more shading in that moon. The great thing about pan pastels is that they're so soft. It just without it being perfect, it just gives you that look. I love them. I couldn't be without them. I'm also going to pop some shadowing down underneath the fairies' feet and the bunny's feet, just to make them look like they're situated and that they're not floating. And I'll just fill in Bunny with the black Stabilo pencil. And so now I'm just colouring in her beanie and the details in her choo-choo, just with some alcohol markers. For the mushrooms, I'm just going to use some watercolour pencils for a bit of a looser effect than the alcohol markers. I'll just colour these in and go over with some water. If you're new here, I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Danny. I live in Australia and I enjoy making cards and some paper arts. I do a lot of die cutting and stamping and things like this. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love it if you could join. It would be great to have you with us. When I say join, I just mean subscribe. It's lovely to see my subscriber count growing. It's nice to know that people watch my videos. I love making them. So now I'm just going to grab out my Posca pens and just pop some details on. I just want those lamps to sort of illuminate some colour, so I'm just going in with some paint because that's sort of the brightest option that I've got. I'd also like to remind people that I have the brand new Facebook group called The Glittered Roses Modern Card Makers. I'll pop a link in my description box. I just hope that we can maybe build a bit of a community, have some challenges and some swaps internationally. I think it's wonderful when you have friends in your hobby and the internet sort of opens up that option to have friends all over the world. Now I'm just going to go in with some Posca pens and make some dots. This is just for some added texture, I guess, but to me it looks like fairy dust. So I like to add some dots around. It just adds to the magical atmosphere of it. Okay, so now I'm going to do some shading around the edges. I'm not going to do as much as I have done previously. I just want a little bit of framing, but I don't want to cover up too much of the tag. And this just helps bring your eye towards the center of the tag. So this is why I do it. I'm just using the Della blue that I used on the moon, just so it all coordinates nicely and is cohesive. So just lightly with a small blending brush or stencil brush. When I make these videos, I don't imagine that you need to use exactly what I've made. You don't need to copy it. It's just to show different techniques, just maybe to provide a little bit of inspiration. Oh boy, I love this background. I think this tag is just so gorgeous. I'm really happy with it. I think it's my favorite I've made. I love it. I think it's so sweet. I think using the Dinkles this way gives a really different look than if you were to sprinkle them and add water. It's such a pretty, softer sort of a background. I've just grabbed some stickles and I'm just going to pop some in her choo-choo just for that little extra shimmer. Just stroking it on and rubbing it so it's just a thin sort of a glaze over the choo-choo. I'm not sure if you can see this on camera, the glitter, but in person it's really pretty. It is not too glittery in your face, if you know what I mean. And here we are, all finished. I had so much fun making it, and I hope that you can go ahead and make something that you love just as much as I love this. So thanks so much for watching till the end. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. Let me know down below what you think and subscribe. Till next time.